Why do we have all the engine issues on this new van? Here's the situation. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of room between the top of the engine and the firewall on this thing. So you cannot get an engine hoist in here to lift this thing up out of the mount and get it out. The only way we've been able to do it is whole front end comes off, slide this thing in far as you can, put a big block of wood under the oil pan on a floor jack, jack it up that last little bit, slide it in, stick it in the mounts. So like I said, the engine trouble we had on this thing was 100% self-induced. Big old flat bottom, that's how we were jacking it up with the board. Done it no problem several times now. If you look inside here, that smooth spot is where the oil pump pickup was riding. We had no idea. I can tell you it's been like that since February of 2021. When I pulled the engine, when we put the engine in it the first time, sent pictures of the filter that we cut open to the engine builder, said it had about a bunch of black particles in it, didn't know what was causing it. He didn't know what was causing it, but it never showed up again. Looking back on it now, it's the paint from the oil pan. Been like that since February of 2021. We've never had any engine issues. This engine has been rock solid this entire time. When we swapped it into the second van, did it the exact same way, no problems. Ran it for a year like that. Swapped it into this van, had no oil pressure. Realized it broke the pickup, dropped the oil pan, put a new pump and pickup in it. It's a factory Melling high pressure standard volume pump with a pressed-in pickup tube. Ran it like that. Thought it was going to be fine. 2 days later, it dropped the oil pump pickup off. It's cast iron pump and steel tube. I don't trust myself to try and weld that. I can weld, but I'm not great at it. And I have no problem admitting that. So when I put it back together this time, we drilled and tapped a 1/4-20 bolt through the side of the pump. I'll put a picture in there. And put red Loctite and a jam nut on it. The bolt protrudes into the pickup, basically fits flush inside the tube. It's not going to interfere with any oil flow or anything like that. But put it back together, everything sounded good, had good oil pressure. Drove it that day a little bit, went and got it aligned, make one full pull with it, and it drops a lifter. Starts rattling and still got good oil pressure. I knew it was fine. I drove it home. Pulled the valve cover off at 3 in the morning, realized it's got a collapsed lifter. That video, for some strange reason, decided to get like 200,000 views. There's nothing wrong with the quality of the lifters. There's nothing wrong with the quality of the rockers. That stuff has been in there for 4 years, absolutely trouble-free. I don't care what stuff you put in there. If you run it without oil, it's going to come apart. So we put a pair of used lifters in there because that's all we had at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday before sick week starts. They made it all week, no problem. Scorpion rockers have been trouble-free for 4 years. They work great. They still work great. And that's what's going to go back in it when we refresh it. I don't even know what lifter's in it. It's got 3 different sets of lifters in it at this point because we had one collapse when we originally put the engine together. Because we didn't, it's a long story, but I'll explain that another day. Nothing wrong with any of the quality of any of the parts. It was 100% my fault. Probably should not have been installing an engine like that, but we've done it like that 3 times, and I still don't really have a better idea of how to do it, but that was the problem with the engine. We made it through sick week, 1,000 miles. Still got great oil pressure. It did burn some oil, but we've been running on methanol for 4 years. Got a feeling it's probably needing some rings. So we're going to do a compression and leak down check on it this week. See what we need and possibly get it freshened up before April. But that is the story behind all the oil pump issues on the new van.